still need to testify. You help yourself. I don't want to give you away at all. We'll read out the book of 1 Samuel. If you'd like to look with us this morning, and you pray for me. The Lord's moved me around quite a bit this morning. I had a couple of different things and didn't know what direction to go in. And then I felt moved from that to something else. And now I feel moved to this. So we're just going to follow Him. That's the only way I know how to do this anyway. But 1 Samuel chapter 17. 1 Samuel chapter 17. I want to start in about verse 23. And this comes in on David when he was still a young man, still a child, so to speak, and his brothers had gone off to fight against the Philistines under the leadership of King Saul. And his daddy had sent him and said, "You go carry some cheese and different things to the men on the battlefield to kind of help them out." And so here he is. He's brought it down to them. And we pick up here in verse 23, 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 23. "And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid. And the men of Israel said, Have ye seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, What shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, So shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, Why camest thou down hither, and with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And David said, What have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spoke, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. I know that's a lot of scripture, but there's a lot of scripture before that and after that I'd like to add in. But if you're not familiar with this, you go back and read it sometime. But I want to look at verse 29 and take my text from that verse. And David said, What have I now done? Is there not a cause? And David's brethren was upset with him. And the reason they were is because they were jealous. Because nobody else in the whole army of the Lord would stand up against this giant Goliath. And you'll go on and find out where Saul tried to talk him out of it, and then Saul tried to put his armor on him, and David said, I can't wear this armor. I haven't proved it. I don't know if it works or not. But he said, I'll tell you what does work. He said, I believe in the Lord God of Israel. And he said, I was watching my father's sheep, and they came a bear against them, and God helped me to slay that bear. And I was watching my father's sheep, and there came a lion against them, and God helped me to be able to slay that lion. And he said, the same God that delivered me from them, He will deliver me from this giant. His brothers got mad at him. And if you want to look a little further, not only should his brothers have volunteered to fight this giant, but Saul, the king of Israel, he was, by nature of his rank, he was the leader of the army. And not only that, but the Bible tells us that Saul, as a man, stood head and shoulders above everybody else. If there's anybody in the kingdom that ought to fought the giant, it should have been Saul. But he was afraid to also. But you know how the story goes. This little boy, the Bible said that he was a youth, he was ruddy, he was of a fair countenance. I mean, just a little old, pretty little old boy. But he came and he did what God said, and he trusted in God, and he slayed the giant. Now, how in the world could that be? The Bible says, and I'm going to go back to that scripture again, they got mad at David for coming down there. He said, you just down here to be nosy. You just down here so you can see what's going on and satisfy your curiosity and go tell tales. That's all you're wanting to do. David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? If the Lord help me for a few minutes, what I want to preach to you is I want to preach on what's causing all this. Are you glad that you're here today? Are you glad to be in God's house? And if you've been here at Grace Church for any amount of time, are you glad for what God's doing here? Are you glad to see Him working here? I don't know about you, but when you walk out of these doors and you look around the world that we live in, it seems like every man is against one another. It seems like the whole world is a-crumbling and it's falling apart. But yet, God is still here. God still loves us. He meets with us. He blesses us. He feeds us. He's still answering prayers. He's still working miracles. He's still saving souls. What is it that's causing all this? I've still got peace. I've still got joy. I've still got